You're welcome to the Messiah channel. This is an end time prophetic channel, and today we are looking at restoration and empowerment of the Hebrew Israelites, and we are looking at Psalm 23. Does it have any end time implications? I was reading the Bible. I was looking at Psalm 23, and I look at the Psalm, and then I try to do some theology and have to look at the implications, end time implication for the Hebrew Israelites. The Psalms, does it have any application to the present condition and the future elevation of the Hebrew Israelites? So we are looking at Psalm 23, and we can read Psalm 23 for the record, and then we'll be looking at the prophetic implications. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. The Lord is the shepherd, the great shepherd, and if you are the flock, you will not need anything. You will not be in want. The Lord fed his people even in the wilderness, and he provided water for his people, and the water came from the rock. So the Lord is my shepherd. He's your shepherd, the great shepherd. The Messiah is the great shepherd, and you shall not want. He leads his people to greener pastures. That is in the Psalm. And the greener pastures was shown to me in a vision. And in that vision, I saw a group of women, and they were African Americans, Hebrew Israelites, and they were marching in a wilderness. It was very green vegetation, and they were singing a prophetic song in the name of the Lord, in the name of the Lord. And so when I look at the text, he leads me into greener pastures, and I connect it to the vision. Then I know that that text in Psalm 23 has a future application, end time application. A time is coming when the Lord will lead his people to greener pastures. Um, there's going to be a new earth and a new heaven. Death will be abolished, no sorrow, and desert will blossom into new flowers, and that is coming. The Lord is going to lead his people to greener pastures. Psalm 23, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil. And that is a prophetic statement. The psalmist is talking about the perilous times that the Hebrew Israelites will go through, and we went through the desert full of snakes, full of the beasts, wild animals, the desert full of enemies, but the Lord was able to save his people through the desert, through the wilderness, and the Lord also saved his people through horrific experiences the Hebrew Israelites went through, the most traumatic genocide that you can think, the most traumatic, um, um, what they call, is it genocide? Um, that you can think, yeah, you call it genocide. What happened to the Hebrew Israelites is not just murder, it's genocide. And the transatlantic slave trade was a form of genocide uncomparable in history, and people were taken as slaves, were kidnapped. And if you remember the case of the Zong massacre, um, Africans, men, women, children, they were thrown aboard into the Atlantic Ocean. And that was the occasion where a ship, a British ship, was sailing from Ghana toward Jamaica, and the ship owner threw the cargo, the human cargo, the slave cargo, off the ship and into the ocean, killing them in that process. And so the Hebrew Israelites have walked through the valley of the shadow of death, but the Lord has protected his people, because the Lord will always protect his people, and he will do that because he will have a remnant to fulfill the promises that Elohim made to the ancestors of the Hebrew Israelites, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I'll fear no evil. And if you read again Psalm 27, verse 1, the Lord is my light and my salvation. The Lord is the light of the world, and he is the source of salvation, and he will give salvation to his people when the time comes, and the Israelites will be saved, they will be restored, they will be gathered from all nations. Verse 3, Psalm 23, verse 3. Let's see what it says. He restoreth my soul. He restoreth my soul. The shepherd, Messiah, Yeshua, Jesus Christ, restoreth my soul, your soul. And it's not just gathering you from where you are, from captivity, from slavery, from oppression, but he will restore your soul. Your soul is very important. Your soul is immortal. And your soul can go to either of two places. Your soul, after you die, can go to hell, and the alternative will be going into heaven. He restoreth your soul. Prophetically, the Lord is going to restore the soul of those who obey his commandments, and the soul will enter heaven. When you die, you are put into the grave. And if you are righteous, your soul goes into heaven. If you are wicked, your soul goes to hell until the day of judgment. And after the day of judgment, the soul of the unrighteous will be cast into the lake of fire. That is the final destination. So the Lord restoreth my soul. It is not just giving you food and water. Restoring your soul, he will save you, and if you obey the commandments. And so there is hope that a Savior is coming, and the Savior is coming from Zion, and he's coming with healing under his wings. The wings of righteousness is coming, and under the wings of righteousness, all of us will be saved. And so the shepherd, the Messiah, he restoreth my soul, and the psalmist took notice of that in Psalm 23, verse 3. He restoreth my soul, he leadeth me into the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. We are sinful people, but the Lord will restore our soul, and he will do it by leading us into the path of righteousness. The path of righteousness, be righteous. And so the angel of the Lord, the great shepherd, warned you to come out of Babylon, my people. He's leading you, he's guiding you, he's guiding you to the path of righteousness. He's guiding you to take the narrow road. Matthew chapter 7, verses 13 to 14. He's leading you to the path of righteousness because he is eager to restore your soul, as stated in Psalm 23, verse 3. And when you go to Psalm 23, verse 4, there's also a promise there. There's a promise there. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, you use your rod and your staff to comfort me. And the valley of the shadow of death. Your rod and your staff will comfort me. The Hebrew Israelites will go under the rod of the great shepherd of all times, the Messiah, the Ezekiel page. All Hebrew Israelites will go under the rod, and the Messiah will protect his people. And as you are going through the rod, he will purge his people, but he will also protect them. And his people will go through refinement as the goldsmith refines gold with fire. And so all that you are going through, even though you are going through the valley of the shadow of death, you should fear no evil, because the Messiah is with you. He is your light and salvation, as stated in Psalms 27 verse 1. And as I was reading through Psalm 23, I seem to like verse 5, Psalm 23, verse 5. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Preparing a table before you in the presence of your enemies. So we have to look at the prophetic implications. The first thing is the question, do you have an enemy? Yes. For the Hebrew Israelites, who is your enemy? Prophetically, we have to look at the prophecies regarding the Hebrew Israelites. Deuteronomy 28, you will be sent captives to the land of bondage, the land of your enemies. So if you are living in Babylon, United States, or you are living in any other nation, and that location was not your choice, you were forced to get into that location. You were kidnapped, you were forced onto slave ships, and you were sent to a land. The land had slave plantations, and that is a land of bondage, is a land of your enemy. And so the Lord will prepare a table before you, um, um, a table before your enemies. Thou will prepare a table before thy enemies. Thou prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. And so, what is the table that is going to be prepared for you, and who are your enemies? So, we have already talked about your enemies. And your enemies are the horns, the Gentiles that captured you and sent you into captivity. They are wicked people. Every person who is wicked is an enemy of God, and everyone who touches you touches the apple of the eye of Elohim, and it also becomes an enemy of God. And so the table is coming. A table is going to be prepared, and Psalm 23 has prophetic end time implications, and we will look into the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 9. Revelation chapter 3, verse 9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. So that is a form of a table when the Messiah, the great shepherd, sees your condition. He sees that your identity has been stolen and you have gone through the captivity. The people who have stolen your identity, they call themselves as the chosen of God, the children of God, but they are not. They are of the synagogue of Satan. And the Messiah is saying in Revelation chapter 3, verse 9, to the church of Philadelphia, to the brothers and sisters in Philadelphia, that behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, to know that I have loved thee. So that is a table that the Lord is going to prepare before you, the Hebrew Israelites, in the presence of the enemies, the ones who have stolen your identity, the ones that conspired against you and sent you into bondage, sent you into captivity. And before we get to Revelation, we have to read what our brother Isaiah said in Isaiah chapter 14, verse 2. And he's talking about the end times. He's talking about a time when the Lord will prepare a table for the Hebrew Israelites in the presence of their enemies, the Gentile nations, the horns that took them into captivity. The prophet Isaiah is giving us a little glimpse of the table that will be prepared by Elohim for the chosen of God, the Hebrew Israelites, God's elect, who were scattered to all the four corners of the earth. So we are looking at Isaiah 14, verse 2. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handsmaid, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. It's very deep. The tables will turn, and it will be a table that will be prepared by Elohim for the former oppressed people, so that the oppressors will now be the captives. So let me read again for the record so that you know the table that has been prepared for the Hebrew Israelites, and as recorded in the book of Isaiah chapter 14 verse 2. And the people shall take them who the Gentiles, the oppressors, the enemies, and those who took the sons of Jacob as captive. And the people shall take them and bring them into their place. So the Gentiles will bring the Hebrew Israelites into their place, the land of promise. And something will happen. And bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them. The house of Israel, the Hebrew Israelites, shall possess their oppressors, their enemies, their horns that took them into captivity. They will possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaid. I'm not an English person, so I don't know the meaning of a servant. I don't know the meaning of a handmaid. But the Bible is using the word servants and handsmaid, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. And that language is very simple for any person to understand. Those whose native language is not English, people like me whose native language is not English. I am an Ashanti man, and I don't speak English very well, but we can read for the record Revelation chapter 3 verse 9 and Isaiah chapter 14 verse 2. Revelation chapter 3 verse 9. The Lord will make those who say they are Jews but they are not, they will come and worship before the feet of the downtrodden, the rejected and the oppressed, the outcasts of Israel and the dispersed of Judah. And the prophet Isaiah is also repeating the same thing that the Messiah said in Isaiah 14 verse 2, that the ones who were the bottom of the ladder and they were under the table, they will sit at the head of the table, and the Lord will prepare a table, a feast before them in the presence of their enemies. And I will refer you to the book of Revelation again, to Revelation chapter 9, chapter 19, verse 9. Blessed are those who are invited to the marriage supper of the Lamb. The Lord is going to provide a feast, is going to organize a feast. It is not a Boston Tea Party. It's not everybody who will be invited. The selected will be invited. And the Apostle John is calling them those who are blessed. Blessed are you who um, are invited to the marriage supper of the Lamb in Revelation chapter 19, verse 9. The Lord is going to prepare a table before you in the presence of your enemies. And at the time that you are at the table prepared by Elohim, the missiles of Elohim will be protecting you from your enemies who will be lurking behind in the bush, in the forest, in the palaces, in the bunkers, in the hotels, whatever, wherever they are. The Lord will be preparing a table, and they will see it. They will see your elevation. They will see your exaltation, and they will see that the Lord has changed your condition. And so Psalm 23 is very relevant for the end times. And I have just given you a summary of how it is relevant for the end time event. The great shepherd, he will lead you to greener pastures, and you will possess the land promised to your ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Even though you are walking through the valley of the shadow of death, some of you are going through persecution. You are going through rejection over the world. You are called the proverb, you are called the byword, you are called the N word all over. You are downtrodden, but the Lord will restore you, and you will go into greener pastures. A vision was shown to me, as I told you earlier, when Black American women were walking onto a green pasture, singing a prophetic song in the name of the Lord. In the name of the Lord. It's not me telling you the Lord will prepare a table before you, but the Messiah said that he will command those who say they are Jews, but they are not. He will command them to come and worship under your feet, so that you, the Hebrew Israelite, will know that the Lord loves you. Because you think he doesn't love you, because you think he doesn't love you. That's why he gave you a dark skin color, a brown color, which is the source of your oppression, the source of your captivity. No, he said he will change the tables, and your enemies will come and worship before your feet, just to let you know, by the way, that the Messiah loves you, and you will possess your enemies. The time will come. So Psalm 23 has prophetic implications, and I wish you good luck as we wait for the great shepherd who will restore our soul, who will lead us to greener pastures, who will prepare a table before us in the presence of our enemies. And lastly, Psalm 23 verses talks about something that is very, very important. Psalm 23 verses, I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. And that is the prophetic message in the book of Isaiah, where the outcasts of Israel and the dispersed of Judah, they are gathered from the lands of bondage and the lands of captivity, and they are restored unto their own land, and they will possess their possession, as written in the book of Obadiah. And the Lord will rule from Jerusalem, and the Hebrew Israelites and those who will overcome to the end. The remnant, they will rule over the Messiah, because they are of a royal priesthood, and they will rule because they are of the tribe of Jacob, and they will be restored, and they will dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. They will go into eternity of the Messiah, and that is the promise, that is the hope. Thank you for watching this video. Read Psalm 23 again, and then read Revelation 3 verse 9 and read Isaiah 14 verse 2 so that you can see the connection that I'm making between the Psalm 23 and the future elevation and restoration and eternal redemption of the Hebrew Israelites, the remnants. I'm talking about the remnants and those who will overcome. Thank you very much. My email is raptureafrica@yahoo.com. Leaving it in the description box. Thank you very much.